nerve to quit your job?
Thank you. The question was, how did I ever find the nerve to quit my job and try painting full time? It's a pretty terrifying prospect for just about anybody, and it certainly was to me. Not only that, it took me forever to make the decision, and every step of the way was scary. At the time, this is 22 years ago, my wife was pregnant with our first child. I had worked for the past 20-some years in marketing and advertising. I was a senior VP for a top 10 national ad agency. Had a very good salary. I was good at what I did, but yet it was not at all fulfilling. And that was weighing on me heavily. And my friends and my wife realized that. So I had to figure out what to do. I had started, luckily, painting as a part-time pastime. And I had already sold a couple of paintings to a couple of local galleries. So I was starting to feel passionate about that. Then, as a big surprise, my pregnant wife started urging me to quit my job, to paint full-time, and to become an at-home dad. Well, I didn't have the self-confidence to do any of those things. So instead, I just kept agonizing. And the longer I agonized, the more down on myself I became. My problem was fear of failure. I started reading self-help books on how to change your career, and nothing I read really seemed relevant. But then I finally did read something that struck home. A particular author said, in order for you to move forward, you have got to figure out what's holding you back. And she gave me a methodology for figuring that out. Her methodology was this. She said, go to a room by yourself, sit down at a table with a pen and paper, not a pencil. She was very emphatic, it needs to be in ink, permanent ink. On that piece of paper, write down, as a career, I would like to be, and then finish that sentence. And then listen real carefully to a small voice of criticism, objection in your head. If you don't hear the objection, repeat the process. I want a career as blank, and listen carefully. Pretty soon, you're not only going to hear what the objection is, you're also going to recognize whose voice it is. And it's probably a family member from years ago. Once I did discover the root cause for my inaction, it still wasn't quite enough to push me over. I still didn't have enough self-confidence to risk failure. And that's what my hang-up was, a fear of failure. So then I started thinking, well, maybe there's an alternative here. I could just keep working in the ad business for the next 20 years, then retire, and then give painting a real shot. But then a little voice in my head posed what became a critical question, and that was, which would be worse? To go ahead and quit your job, try to be a painter and fail, or wait until you retire and then you find out that you weren't good enough to have had a career as an artist. Well, I decided the latter would be much, much worse. And making that decision is really what gave me the impetus to make the change. It was a real critical key question that I needed to answer. So now, you might ask, 22 years later, would I have made more money? had I stayed in the ad business? Unquestionably, a lot more money. Would that have provided me with happiness and with job satisfaction? Absolutely not. The decision I made was 100% correct for me. And I think my work that you see here today reflects that. In retrospect, I think that it took three things to change careers. One was some reasonable, realistic preparation. Second was encouragement from friends and family. And the third was a belief in myself. And once I could bind all those together, I was able to move forward.